All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Strong Principles. I'm Wendy Shafransky.
I'm Rob Delacruz.
I'm Larry Medina.
All right, guys, today we are going to talk about a topic that I know is on a lot of people's minds, and it came about from a conversation I had with a client of ours recently who is looking to fit into a dress in a month. So she said, how much cardio should I add? And that was her mentality of like, all right, I need to add more cardio to burn weight or burn more fat, lose some weight. So, all right, I'll have you take it first, Rob. What do you think?
Oh, what she should do, or what about it?
Okay, if I came to you saying, all right, I need to fit into this dress, I'm almost there, I'm just going to add a bunch of cardio, what would you say to me?
Well, in a time crunch, there's things you can do, but it's not the best approach.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
And so what people run into issues with the cardio is they'll look at the calorie burn and you're not paying attention to like the fat loss.
Right.
Those are two different things. And so when you go and you do a big signal of cardiovascular training, it tends to actually pare down muscle, and you could possibly slow down your metabolism, which is most likely going to happen.
Yeah. No, I see quite a few issues, obviously, with this. They focus on the calorie burn in that hour-long session, which if you're an hour on the treadmill, you're going to burn more calories than an hour lifting weights. But if you're constantly doing cardio, your body's adapting. So that same hour is not as effective as it was when you first started. So now you have to go to an hour in 15 minutes, and then you adapt. And then you got to go. You can't continually add more cardio. Like Rob said, it's going to pare down muscle, but your metabolism is shaped by muscle. So even though you're burning less calories in that strength training workout, you are burning more all day long the more muscle you have.
You're basically becoming more expensive to operate your body all day long.
Yeah, and I understand your client's question, right? Because like in the layman, like I would think like calories burned versus calories taken in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And if I'm in a deficit or whatever, then theoretically I should lose weight.
Right.
Correct. And it's still true to like a certain extent, definitely.
But it's hard to track how much you're actually burning.
Correct.
That's really the crux, right? Is like you don't know.
Right.
Well, and also
because you're wearing a wearable, but it's not accurate.
it's 60%. It could be up to
Right.
60% off.
I was at a fitness conference, and there was a guy that I listened to, and he looks at all the trackables for military, for NBA, and he was just saying, use it as a tool for looking at trends, but don't put all your eggs in that basket. But let's talk about basal metabolic rate. So that's the amount of calories you burn when you just lay in bed for 24 hours. So your body naturally burns that. Say I'm almost 150 pounds. So say I'm a 150-pound woman, but I have a lot of muscle. My basal metabolic rates, when I tested it, was about 1,700 calories. But say there was a 150-pound woman that has not a whole lot of muscle, it might be 1,000, 1,200. So my body is a lot more efficient. It's burning calories naturally because I have more muscle. So that's where, that's what you want to put your focus on. Cardio is great. We do it. We think it's important for your heart. But if you are trying to lose fat, building muscle long-term is the way to go.
By the way, that means you can eat a whole other hamburger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
you
a
definitely
lot,
could.
And that's a delicious hamburger.
There's no way around like good nutrition. But also, you want to think the harder those workouts and the longer those workouts are, your body is going to figure out how to go ahead and bring down its energy it's using. People don't realize that. So you go and burn a ton of calories in a workout. You do some big old hit workout. Your body's going to try to slow itself down through motivation or through the way it moves during the day. So your body's pretty smart when it goes to do that. Also is when you're using those trackers, it does not tell you how your body is adapting to that cardiovascular training. In a very short amount of time, you're not burning the same amount of calories.
Right.
So what happens is you end up having to do either more cardio or eat less food. So you run into that trap of all of it together trying. So now you're hardly burning any calories. You're doing a lot of movement and you're hardly eating any food. That's a bad place to be in, because once you go away and you go and eat some food and go on vacation, when people say like they blew up, all of a sudden you have no metabolically room.
Yeah, your deficit's just insane at that point.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're stuck. You're kind of stuck. There's only a few ways to increase your metabolism. One is strength training. And so it's setting a signal for your body to produce more tissue, more muscle. Also neurologically, for you to get stronger, your brain is so expensive to send a signal to get stronger. So those two ways, that right there increases. The other way would be to eat more food. Your body automatically has an uptick. But then you're eating more.
But then you're eating more. So yes, and that's the confusing part, right? Because like I'm running into that today, right?
Okay.
Like losing. I don't eat a ton. At least I don't think I eat a ton.
Well, see, that's the thing you want to see sometimes. I mean, you might not be because there's a lot of people we've worked with over the years and you could swear they're lying.
Like,
and then you
I'll
look
you.
at it and they're not, but they've moved their metabolism down.
Right, but then we have the clients that are like, "No, I swear, I'm tracking, and I'm hardly eating anything," and then they're not weighing and measuring, and then they, what does a tablespoon of peanut butter look like? And it's like a quarter of a cup, and it's a big difference.
Because Larry, you're trying to give yourself like metabolic flexibility. So you're trying to give yourself some room. And what happens a lot of times to people is they don't have that much room. So they might be in a little bit of deficit during the week. And then they go on the weekends and they're like, well, I've been pretty good. I'm going to go have a few drinks and I'm going to eat. Well, you only had like an extra couple hundred calories in there. And actually you ate 800 extra. So now we just blew the whole thing in the weekend.
Yeah, like I'll tell you like what a typical day is, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
You're
See,
right
that's
there.
the problem.
Hey, Larry, I already know what's going on here.
But yeah, so like Monday through Friday, I'll do like, and it'll spill into the weekends, but as far as like my typical day would be like, I'll have some coffee, right? Like a splash of heavy cream. So
No problem.
well, kind of, but yeah,
What is a splash?
Really. No, it legit is like a splash. Like like my wife will be like, you didn't throw anything in there. I'm like, it's plenty.
Okay.
So coffee, maybe 1-2 cups. I don't eat breakfast, and then I'll eat like I do sous vide chicken. So it's
Fancy.
yeah, but it's nice because like it's not fried, it's not anything.
What time's your first meal at?
Noon.
Okay.
So like 12-ish. And then I don't eat again. Like I'll have like a chicken sandwich, right? So it's like full disclosure, it'll be like just like wheat bread, slice of chicken that is like not fried, nothing. Maybe like a piece of cheese on it. That's my lunch.
Any kind of like sauce, mayonnaise?
A little bit of mayonnaise.
Okay.
Some mustard.
Okay.
Then for dinner, like I'll have again sous vide chicken, right, of some sort with a veggie, right?
It sounds like you're not getting enough protein.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so the scary part is like eating more. It's scary because you feel like you're going to put on weight.
Yeah.
But a lot of times what happens is
But
when
if
you're
it-
eating more, it's sending a signal. So when you don't eat that much, having fat is an insurance policy to the body. So when it doesn't get into like kind of like a little more of an abundance of calories for a while, it tends to want to hold on to things. And so it'll burn the more expensive or try to get rid of the more expensive tissue first if you're not eating. And the more expensive tissue is muscle. So then you're in this weird thing trying to build muscle, and then your body's trying to get rid of it because you're not giving it that much to work with.
All right. So saying what I just said, right? What would you add to it?
Well, I would have you track like 3 days, and it's a pain in the ass, and I don't like it long term because I think a lot of times people get too wrapped up in it, just like they do wearables or whatever. But let's see what you're at on on a typical day, and then I would say if you're eating 120 grams of protein, I would say try to get about 1 gram per pound of body weight, or even per pound of goal body weight. So I would start there. I'd probably have you add more vegetables. Whole foods, you feel full because there's so much more volume than when you do using like.
You just don't feel stuffed.
Right. You feel good.
Right.
I mean, like last night I made skirt steak, rice, and roasted broccoli. It tasted so damn good, and I'm like, why don't people like to eat this way? Like,
And
it
I had a
was
chicken
so
thigh with
good.
that.
Yeah. On top of that,
Yeah.
Yeah, he eats a pound of beef at a time, but
Jesus.
yeah.
But yeah, look at you.
So yeah, I mean, he had to maintain what he has. Yeah, but no, I would say like definitely look at your protein intake and then overall calories. You could be a little low on things, but protein's going to keep you feeling full. It's going to support muscle building. There's just.
So let me ask you this then, right? So if we're talking about like a gram of protein for the goal body weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you said.
Yeah.
So like let's pretend that I want to make my body weight 175.
Okay.
Not possible, but
Right.
let's say I want to do 175. I don't feel like I should aim for that first. I should probably aim for let's say I'm 220, 205.
Yeah. Well, it depends
Right,
on
so-
where
so-
you're
Well,
at now.
have you ever tried to hit it? Like, have you? So first
No.
thing I would say 100% what Wendy's saying, but maybe if it's too much of a pain to track everything, just do the protein by itself. And have you even aimed for the 170?
No.
Okay, because that might
Wait,
seem
weight wise?
No,
the
for
protein grams.
No.
Because that alone, whole foods like good, that might be hard to get to in the first place, and that alone could keep you full enough where some of the other stuff might go by the wayside a little bit, and you don't eat it as much.
Right.
Okay.
And I would say look.
Because 200 is a lot.
Do that experiment and see where you're at. If you're at 120 and you want to get to 175, I don't expect you to get there overnight. Start inching it up.
Because Larry,
And
think
then,
about, go ahead.
like he said, track just protein only, and then the rest of your diet, or 80 to 90%, is whole foods. You don't have to worry about the calories. Like it's just not going to hit you like a processed food would.
Because Larry, I don't know where you're at, but you got 2 meals in. So I'm just kind of like throwing it in my head thinking you're probably at like 80 grams. So now you got to find almost 100, another 90 grams. So that's the same as that you're eating in a day. That's not going to be that easy to do. So you're either going to have to eat another meal or add to the meal you are and take away from somewhere else.
And you're over 40, sarcopenia, muscle loss happens.
Yes.
Like protein is so much more, like older people, a lot of them eat smaller amounts, but in actuality, the protein demands for someone older is more than the younger person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like try it first before you think.
Like it's an
Because it's going to be
intervention.
harder than people
Yeah.
think is eating a lot of protein.
Yeah.
So some other considerations, we're talking about cardio for weight loss, and we're saying that's not the way to go. You can do some cardio, but build muscle, get your protein intake up. So lift weights, focus on whole foods and protein. The other consideration is called NEAT, and that stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is beyond that basal metabolic rate we just talked about when you're just laying in bed. This is all the calories you burn all day long. Well, a lot of people come and they crush themselves in the gym for an hour, and then they sit the rest of the day. They sit at the desk, they sit on the couch. So NEAT is, I like to think of it as steps. You got to get those. You got to always have your body kind of just like working in your favor.
Yeah, and the harder you go in the gym, the less motivated you are to do anything else. So that goes like kind of hand in hand with that.
So you're saying don't go ham on or go ham at the gym, but then like continue?
Well, no, you want to do like a sustainable like approach.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
so-
then
so
going
do
ham
you-
like once a week is fine, but like that shouldn't be all the time.
No, I mean, say I work out in the morning. Okay, I'm going to work out in the morning, but I'm going to make sure I take walks during the day. I have a standing desk and I fidget all the time, so I know I'm getting like a lot of activity. But if you're at a desk and you're at an office, set your timer for every 15 minutes and stand up and move around a little bit. Walk after dinner. Take your dog for a walk every morning. Park farther in the parking lot. Use the stairs. Like all these little things over the course of a day add up. Because we've had people that wear the wearables in our gym and they're consistent in the gym at not seeing anything. But then you look and they have like 3,000 steps a day because they're a lawyer and they're sitting at their desk.
Super sedentary.
So, yeah. So just because you're in, I'm great you're working out, but you need to think about just kind of staying active. There's been some studies, and people who fidget tend to be leaner than people who don't, and they're just getting more.
Because Larry, you want to think about it. Even the hardest gyms, take a hard cardiovascular training, like 400 calories, maybe that's a lot. You're out of there for a long period of time going at it, and that's not very hard to eat. And then a strength training, couple 100 to 300, maybe, but you can easily eat that. And if you're not moving the rest of the day, so too many people rely on the workout to like use the calories up, but you actually have to rely on the movement that you're doing during the day. That helps a lot. It's hard to overcome being sedative, no matter what your workout is.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you. I feel like that's a big part of my issue
Right.
personally, right? But Yeah, I totally agree with you. Where
Sedentary, I meant to say.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Sedative.
Well,
You're taking
speaking
a sedative.
speaking of sedative,
Yeah.
the last thing is you need to sleep.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I'm terrible at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, when you're sleep deprived, you make bad choices in food. It affects your insulin. It affects your insulin sensitivity. There's there's been studies where people they did everything the same in their life, but they got an hour extra sleep and they saw their body composition change. So
Yeah, I got one for you too.
Just
So there were
just an extra 1 hour.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody is different, and I know people can operate on less sleep, but it's usually 7 hours is the minimum that you need to get consistently per night. I mean, we're at like 8 to 10 every night.
Yeah, so
we go to bed at 7.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He gets.
I
Up
mean,
at
it's disrupted a little bit, but so remember everything Wendy said. But Larry, when I said that having body fat is an insurance policy, so when you have low sleep, it's a big stressor. So it wants that insurance policy, and it's going to push you to gravitate to wanting to hold on to the fat. Also, there's been some studies that they've seen that they've had people have 7 and above hours. And then it was like 6 and below to like 5. And the percentage in body fat, and they were all doing the same thing, was huge. Huge. Some people cannot lose weight no matter what you're doing or what you're eating if your sleep is too low.
And you can repair and recover so that your workouts are that much better too.
Correct.
It's like this, it's all linked.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, because I was okay. Like I was listening to a MMA guy who is, huge wrestler. And he was talking about like his all day training, and obviously they're outliers, and I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, but they would work out so hard in the morning, they would take a nap,
Yeah.
and then get back at it.
Yeah.
It's pro athlete.
Yeah, those pro athletes, that's totally different than a longevity-based
100%.
program.
But you think about
Yeah.
pro athletes, and they train a lot, but like they are doing everything perfectly to put them in a perfect situation to perform. They prioritize sleep.
Right.
All of them.
That's
Right, 'cause
number one.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear like, oh yeah, I take a nap every day.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Hey, under, I think it's under 6 or 5 hours. I think it's under 6.
6.
It's almost like 40% more likely of an injury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And again, those, your insulin sensitivity is out of whack. Your food choices are bad. I mean, it's all.
It's a lymphatic flushing for the brain,
Yeah.
for clarity. Like there's a ton of stuff that's going on.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've covered it all, but just just to put it all out there again, if you are wanting to lose body fat, don't add more cardio. Cardio is fine, but your priority should be on lifting weights. It should be eating whole foods with an emphasis on protein. If you want to track, try to get around 1 gram per pound of body weight, maybe 0.8 per pound of body weight. Worry about non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is called NEAT. So the steps you're getting all day, try to be active there, and then get 7 or more hours of sleep. And it's a powerful pill.
Agreed. I'm getting a walking pad.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel
Treadmill desk.
doing your strength training, because what you do is just make yourself more expensive, just all the activities that you're doing, including cardiovascular training.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
All right.
Till
Thanks,
next time,
guys.
guys.